right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of ASU+GSV. My name is Leah Belsky, and I'm the GM for Education at OpenAI, and I am joined here with Bozena, who is a VP of Learning at Duolingo. She's also a learning scientist by training. And before we kick off, we are going to play a quick video.
Introducing Video Call, a new way to practice your language skills.
Oh, hey. How's your job going?
Hey Lily, it's going super well.
Nice. What's your favorite thing about work these days?
Probably my colleagues. I really like working with them.
That sounds like my nightmare. Anyway, I gotta go. Bye for now.
Practice real-world conversations stress-free with Lily on Duolingo.
Awesome. So Bozena is going to tell you a little bit more context about this video. But the reason why we invited Duolingo and Bozena here today is because they are a company who was very early out of the gate with Speak and others really pushing the boundaries of how AI could be used for learning. And they did so in a way that not just drove efficiency and saved cost, but they added new value to learners, and they drove their company's revenue up to the moon. And that is a beautiful shining star for this community. And so, Bozena, I would love if you could start off by introducing yourself and just tell us actually a little bit more about that video we just saw.
Thank you, Leah, for the introduction and for playing the video. So my name is Bozena, VP of Learning at Duolingo. My background pre-Duolingo is really academic. I have a PhD in linguistics and cognitive science. My research was on how people learn, especially how people learn languages, and how we can optimize learning to make it work better. I also did a lot of teaching, including teaching languages, curriculum design during graduate school. So that was all perfect training for my job at Duolingo, where I brought my expertise to design learning experiences that would be fun and effective. So really motivating to learners, but also making sure that they actually work and they teach you something. And this video that you saw, this is something that we are very, very excited about. When the LLM technology arrived, we immediately got very excited because we always wanted to add this functionality to our app that would allow learners to practice conversation. When you're learning a language, that's really what you want. You want to actually be able to speak. And we really couldn't do it. We tried different things before, but it just felt too scripted. It never felt quite like the right experience. And so when we saw this technology, we realized this is our moment. This is when we can actually bring something, develop something that will add a lot of value to our product. It will give learners practice with actual conversation. And that's what it is. It's still early on. We are still developing this feature, but it's out there. Learners are using it, and you can just have a conversation with Lily, who's one of our characters. She's this kind of bored, unimpressed teenager who's fun to talk to. I'm very excited about it. I use it almost every day to practice my Italian. So very, very excited to have this technology.
Awesome. So Duolingo is obviously ahead of the curve, and you have this key problem that you were trying to solve, which is that to learn a language, you need to practice it. And most people can't go around and find a native language speaker to practice with, let alone someone who will sit with them for hours and hours with mediocre Spanish. And you said, well, let's see if we can use AI to solve that and build a product that would serve that function. So tell us about the early phase of the journey. What was it like to start experimenting with the OpenAI models early on? What did those experiments look like? When did you decide that you were ready to actually scale a product?
We jumped on this technology really immediately. We were so excited. Initially, first of all, we started thinking about the key problems that we wanted to solve for our learners. We saw a lot of potential in this technology. And so one thing that we immediately thought about is, okay, how can we get learners to produce language, to have conversation? Initially, we started with just written conversation. That's much easier for learners, especially when they are earlier in their learning journey, to converse in writing. In speaking, the added time pressure really makes it much more difficult. So initially, we experimented with those written conversations. We also used this technology to try to give learners better feedback and more personalized feedback, because LLMs, we immediately saw that they can explain your mistake. They can give you more context in a way that just wasn't feasible for us to do before. So the way it looked initially was we internally started playing with the technology, started just prototyping a lot of different things, just to see what feels right, what doesn't. That's generally our process. We generally prototype a lot internally. We test it. We trust our intuitions about what we like about an experience, what we don't like. And then we try to give it to our learners to see what resonates, what breaks, what's working, what's not working. And we keep iterating. And so from the beginning, now I guess over 2 years ago when this happened, we started this prototyping, and we're still iterating on those features. Video call with Lily came in a little later, but the process was exactly the same, prototyping, trying to do different things, different angles, and we continue iterating on it.
And so you jumped in, you started iterating, but you didn't actually have prompt engineers in-house. You didn't have AI engineers. You had a team of learning scientists. So tell me about the story of what role did you and your team in particular, the learning scientists, play in this journey, and how did you actually take this tech company that didn't have in-house talent and allow them to be AI powered?
Yeah, thank you for this question. I'm just so proud of us, how we approach this, because my team, these are experts who I hired, experts in learning, in teaching, educators, who before AI, or at least before the advent of LLMs, they were the ones who designed our curricula. They were the ones who thought carefully about our courses, our content, how to sequence the material. They were writing the exact content for our courses, which was all very, very slow, but we put a lot of attention into it. And then with LLMs, we realized that this role is going to change. This technology is going to be powerful for our product, for features like conversational practice, but it's also going to be powerful for all other aspects of course design, content creation, where we can use LLMs to generate content, for example. And my team basically learned how to amplify their own expertise by working directly with LLMs. And so they are the ones who have become our main prompt engineers. They work directly with LLMs. They are the ones who write evaluators for LLMs to make sure that whatever we create, the content or conversational features, that all of that works and pedagogically is sound. So initially, they did not have that expertise, but we allowed them time to really play with it. Them and the rest of the company. We gave them protected time to really dive into this technology, play with it initially. We gave everyone easy access to it, and told them, just try it out, figure out how to make this work, how to use it so that your job is easier, so that you don't do the more manual tasks like writing content. Instead, use LLMs, write prompts that will have LLMs do that for you, but you need to think critically now about how to guide LLMs. And so my team has become very impactful in this area because they, as educators, they know exactly what the requirements are for teaching. how we should be thinking about designing experiences for different proficiency levels. What's going to be too overwhelming for learners, how we should be scaffolding the whole experience. They are the ones who know this, and so they are the ones who are able to articulate all those requirements, all those constraints, and give it to LLMs so that LLMs generate what we want and then evaluate that. And so they articulate all of that, and that's why they are able to have a lot of impact. Anyone can prompt, but not everyone has this expertise in pedagogy, in teaching, to be able to really instruct LLMs in this way.
I thought that was pretty cool that Bozena's team, the learning scientists, were the ones who became the prompt engineers for this product, and they were also the team that does the evaluations and makes sure that Lily teaches in a reasonable, effective way. So let's actually double click there. There's a lot of discussion about AI safety and about keeping users safe and about making sure that the LLMs don't respond in a way that's dangerous. How do you actually, like, Lily's striking because she's dark and she's sardonic and she kind of insults you, and like you kind of wonder what she's going to say next, but how do you actually make sure that she doesn't go off the rails and say anything harmful?
We do a lot of testing. So we think a lot about this because we want to make sure that learners have a great experience and doesn't go off the rails. And so we think very carefully about how to constrain Lily and constrain for any other feature what to do to make sure that it all stays within our constraints. And so we do a lot of internal testing where we build in certain constraints, we test it, we write evaluators for different things. Some of them are about pedagogy, so we want to make sure, well, the content is accurate, it's at the right level. But some of them really are about inappropriate language, for example, making sure that those kinds of things don't appear. We look at certain biases. We try to write different evaluators for all those things, and we test. And then we go back and make sure that we revise our prompts to produce the results we want, and we don't release things to our learners until we're confident that nothing is going to break. So that's something that we pay a lot of attention to.
So I've been in this space for a long time and was not at OpenAI when a lot of the recent frontier models launched. And one of the big fears, I think, in this community, and particularly with startups, is that the frontier models are just going to sort of reinvent and reproduce some of the products that the EdTech companies are building. And I think particularly in that first year after ChatGPT launched, you could come to ASU+GSV and there were 10,000 tutors and 10,000 coaches and so many beautiful innovations, but that then got absorbed into the next round of intelligent LLMs that came out. So how do you think about that challenge? Like, how does Duolingo think about how do you stay apace and build in a direction that's not going to be in a direct collision course with the core models?
That's definitely something we think a lot about because in the end, everyone is going to have access to the same technology. How do we make sure that what we build is different, offers some value beyond just what the models can do? And something that Duolingo has always specialized in is motivating learners, engaging learners. This is something that over the years we've really perfected in the app. We've developed all kinds of mechanics and the way we design courses in general. We just are very intentional about making sure nothing is too overwhelming. Everything is properly scaffolded. Everything feels delightful. There's so much delight in the app. There's the fun aspect. Making sure that when learners are on Duolingo, they enjoy it. They enjoy the learning experience. And so that's something that we're trying to bring into the product with AI as well. So we use AI as the foundation, but then there's a lot of work that we do to make sure that the features we're building that are powered by AI, they are now transformed to also be just like the rest of Duolingo, to be very motivating, to be fun. Well, that's why there's a conversation, the video call with Lily, this teenager who's not just a random bot. We're really trying to build her personality so that you really want to talk to her. You want to be her friend. You want to get to know her. This is all very intentional, and that's where, so we're going deeper and deeper into that. How can we flesh out Lily as a personality? How can we make sure that the whole experience is at the right level? That's where, again, my team comes in. They think very carefully about what Lily talks about depending on the level that you're at. When you make mistakes, how does Lily adjust to your level in a way that feels good, you're motivated to keep going. So that's just a big chunk of work that goes on top of the models, making sure that the whole experience is unique. It's unique to Duolingo, and it fits in the whole product in that it's highly motivating, it's highly engaging, it's just a lot of fun.
So what would be your advice? And honestly, I get called like weekly by VCs who want to double check that they're investing in the right direction in EdTech and startup founders. What would be your advice in a few words to either VCs or founders who are looking and have a great idea but don't want to build something unique and differentiated?
Well, definitely think carefully about what is it that you're bringing to the table. What is your point of view on the experience? What is it that you want to create? Don't just create what everyone is creating. Think about, well, what is the value added? And then the way I would say to do it is try to really play with the technology. Try to just have a look, try different ideas. Give everyone in the company, on your team, give them access to the technology. Help them prototype things. One thing that we do regularly at Duolingo is hackathon. So, for example, there's one happening this week, a 3-day hackathon that's specifically focused on AI. We just encourage people to use AI in whatever way they want to just come up with something different, something exciting, something that makes their life easier. And we give them tools. We train them. We've had a series of trainings leading up to the hackathon so that people feel comfortable with the different tools. And then we give them that protected time, 3 days. Nothing else is happening in the company. Everyone is just playing with the technology. And this way, you allow people to be creative, and then you can really see what comes out of it. And you can see, okay, this is maybe the unique value we can provide in our product. But I would say that's important. You engage everyone. You make it easy for them to use the technology to really figure out what's even possible, and they can only do that if they have a chance to play with it a lot, and then be intentional about what you invest in. That it is something that's differentiating you, where you have that strong point of view that, okay, this is something that we believe in, and this is something we want to invest in.
So you're beginning to tell us a little bit about the culture and Duolingo. One thing I've always wondered is you built this really bold brand, and I think Lily is like a great example of that brand. And there's other different, I don't know what you call them, characters or emojis, but if you go onto Etsy or Reddit, you can like buy the Duolingo characters and their stuffies, and it's a whole world of crazy weird characters. How does that actually impact the culture, and how does the vision for this brand come to life within Duolingo? What's it like to work there?
It's what you might expect by our brand. It's a lot of fun. I think from the very beginning, I've been at Duolingo now for 10 years, so it's been a long time since Duolingo was very tiny. And initially, we really were just having fun and playing with things, and before we even knew how we would ever become a successful business. And somehow that culture of just playing, not taking ourselves too seriously, got preserved, even now when we are around 900 people. And so people are just always, people are really nice at Duolingo. People really want to help each other, and they just have fun together. They socialize. We have a lot of team events, a lot of parties, and that really helps collaboration. That really helps that creativity, where people feel like it's safe, it's just allowed, it's encouraged to just have crazy ideas and go with them. And you can see this with our marketing, or if you've seen our TikTok, it's very creative. And internally, really what this looks like is people really feel like they can go with whatever ideas, they can try things out. They know that if they have a great idea, we're going to support them, we're going to invest in it. So it really is this nice environment where people collaborate in a way that's just very very impactful, because they don't feel constrained by, I don't know, I'm not sure. In other companies, maybe things just aren't as flowing easily. I think Duolingo is just very, very fun, very creative.
And you guys are growing like crazy. I think you announced something like 40% year-over-year revenue growth, which on their base is just absolutely tremendous. So tell us a little bit about what it's like scaling. So you clearly have a culture that's embracing AI in many dimensions, from hackathons to the product. You have a team. Are you growing your team significantly? Are you growing your headcount? How do you think about actually internal automation, efficiency? What's the impact of AI internally?
Definitely AI has made us think a lot about the future, and okay, should we be hiring many more people? We've always been very conservative in hiring. We've been growing fast in terms of the headcount, but never crazy. We've always been very intentional on talent density and making sure that the people we hire them for the long run. We don't want to overhire and then let people go. And so now with AI, we are definitely thinking about it. Okay, what does it mean? Should we stop hiring? Should we slow down? We're definitely not going to stop. We're going to continue hiring people, but we're going to be a little bit more intentional, thinking about what roles really are going to impact our business. What are the gaps? Where do we need to put people? And where maybe we don't, because AI can help fill those gaps. For my team, we have been hiring experts for other subjects. Maybe you have heard Duolingo has been expanding beyond languages to math and music. We're thinking about other subjects, and so we have been hiring, for example, educators for those subjects. But in general, we are trying to be more intentional about it. And when we hire, we think about how can we hire people who are very versatile? How can we hire people who are going to be now able to use this new technology and be excited about it? And so that's what we prioritize.
So you mentioned math and music, and I thought that was pretty awesome. If you think about how fun the Duolingo language learning experience is, what would it be like to create something similarly enjoyable for math and music? But as I was walking over to this room, someone someone ran up to me and they were like, why are you having a conversation with Duolingo? They are a gaming company. They're focused on making you feel good and feel like you're accomplished something every day. And the person actually told me, she's like, I have a grandfather, and he's so excited. He uses Duolingo every day, and he's focused on his streaks, but he can't speak a word of French. And basically what the person was saying, she's like, I don't think Duolingo actually cares about learning. They care about giving you a sense of like fun and enjoyment and personal growth and self-development. But now you're talking about math and music. So what do you actually think of that critique? Does Duolingo care about actual learning and actual outcomes, or is it like an awesome, fun, addictive, exciting game?
Well, great question. I mean, the fact that I work at this company and I've hired a whole
He's a learning scientist, remember, okay?
and I hired a whole team of educators. I think this is good evidence that we care. We care about learning. We care about teaching. That's what I think about all the time. How do we make sure Duolingo isn't just a fun game, but it actually teaches you something? It is a tricky balance because motivating learners is very important, and I've definitely learned that over the years. I kind of always knew, okay, motivating learners is important, but working at Duolingo, I realized just how important it is. It's so difficult to keep people's attention. I mean, we all know that. We're so busy. It's so hard to fit in any kind of learning into our daily routines. And so what we're trying to do at Duolingo is make it easy for people to use, even if it's just a few minutes every day, and trying to help people build that habit. Consistency is so important. But then within those few minutes, if you use Duolingo for a few minutes, it's my job to make sure that you actually get something out of it. And so that's what I think about. That's what my whole team thinks about. And the company invests in general a lot in just how we teach. So it's not just my team. We have a whole large area, multiple teams, just focusing on improving how we teach. And so these are cross-functional teams. There are a lot of engineers, product managers, product designers, learning scientists, learning designers, and we all work together on making sure that our product teaches. And so we've been doing that for language, and now we think about the same for math and music. It's always a balance. We're trying to always stay in this realm of what's going to be engaging while at the same time teaching you something. And the way I think about it is, my background is largely in cognitive science, understanding how we learn, understanding how our memory works, attention, how our brain processes information and retains it in the long term. And so I try to bring in that research. I try to think about how we design our experiences in such a way that you might not realize that you are learning, but over time, you are. Over time, your brain picks up on certain patterns that we're showing you, and you internalize them. And so that's what we've been trying to do for language, and now we're trying to apply the same methodology for math, for music. We'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Well, I'd actually love to learn a little bit more about how you're thinking about math and music. I mean, math is a field that so many people in this, teaching math better is a field that so many people in this community have taken on. And just last night, I was talking with folks at Carnegie Mellon who are really designing new AI-driven math experiences, and we have math tutors and just so many different attempts at cracking math education. How are you going to approach it, and what's different?
We're trying to approach it the same way we've approached language. We feel like we've figured out a lot of things about how to motivate our learners. And so yes, math, there's so many different products for math, and we are trying to do things a little bit differently in that we're really focusing on making it fun, making it feel like, no, you're not learning something that's difficult. You are just having fun. It's not easy. We're still working on it. We're still figuring out how to do it. But that's the intention. We want to help learners, just like when you're learning language, we want it to feel like you're just enjoying the experience. You're just having fun. You're playing a game. So we do want you to feel that, but we want you to actually, through going through a lot of exercises, to learn it. And math is interesting because, just like in language, a lot of repetition is necessary for you to internalize certain rules, certain patterns. And so we feel like the Duolingo method is actually going to work very well. We're going to be able to help learners do a lot of math exercises, and that's really necessary. And we're going to make them feel like they can do it. We want to boost their confidence. We want them to feel like, they are able to do it. They are good at math. So that's something that's definitely on our mind. How can we make sure that people lose that anxiety that often exists when it comes to math? And we feel that our product, our characters who are there to cheer you up, all of this is going to help.
Well, I'm super excited to see what you build, both in math and in music. And music's a fascinating field because it is just like absolutely tremendously large market all around the world. And I think there's been limited amount of technical innovation in that space. So, Bozena, I would love to turn the tables a little bit. You have built something truly beautiful. I'm newer at OpenAI. One of the things that really blew me away when I first came inside was to realize that learning is one of the major activities that people are going to ChatGPT for. I think between like 20 to 40% of all messages on the platform are connected to schoolwork or learning or something education related. And there's a lot of people in this community trying to figure out like what that means. What are the implications? Is the learning activity that people are doing on ChatGPT, is it actually driving real learning? Is it making their brains have to work harder? Is it driving cognition? And how do we as an educational community, knowing that a third of all college students today are using AI every day, make sure that when we bring AI into the classroom or into the university that it will help students learn? And so I'm curious, what advice do you have for this community, either me at OpenAI or educators, and how to guide users to use ChatGPT in a way that actually drives learning?
It's a great question. And part of it is what I said earlier. I feel like it's really important to make sure that we make it easy for everyone to use the technology. And so make it available. Really provide people with some with training, with mentorship on how to get started. People generally, there is this anxiety. I feel like everyone has it whenever you start you're faced with some new tool, new technology, how to actually use it, and so there's some element of fear, and so making it easy, demystifying it for people, and giving people opportunities to mentor others. This kind of social collaborative learning, I think, helps people come up with new ideas. And so that would be just my first piece of advice. Just involve everyone immediately in using this technology, and share among yourselves how you're using it and how it makes your job easier. What are the different possibilities? Sometimes it's just one of the blockers is not even knowing what the possibilities are. And so allowing people to just even see different examples of what can be done can spark more creativity. And
so do you use LLMs to learn at all, personally?
Yeah, I do. I love to chat with LLMs, ask questions, help me brainstorm some things, help me with writing. I throw in some notes and then try to figure out how to say things in a better way. But mostly I found it really helpful clarifying my own thinking. So asking GPT about something, for example, and then see what comes out, see if I can dig deeper into some parts that maybe I don't understand. And so this kind of back and forth, I think has been amazing for me. And I definitely hope that we're going to leverage these kinds of discussions with LLMs for educational purposes.
Well, thank you very much. I know we are all watching to see what else you guys build. I think math, transforming music, continuing to transform language. There's so much that you're doing. You are a beautiful example for this community, and I'm really glad that the future of prompt engineering and building at Duolingo is driven by a learning scientist. So let's give Bozena a round of applause.
Thank you.